Hey, what's up everybody? It's Dylan with E7 Music School. Today we're going to be going over Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash. This song is a classic. I hope you guys enjoy. And if you like this video, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's just go ahead and jump into the video. So the first thing we have is the intro. Let me go ahead and replay that for you guys and check it out. So in that very beginning, we have a flam and then a crash. So it's going to go like this. Okay, so then after that, we get into the actual beat. And this is the beat we're going to be playing. So let me just go ahead and play it a little bit slower for you guys, and then I'll put it at tempo. So here's what we're doing. So how we actually do that is like this: bass and snare, bass, bass and snare, and bass and snare, bass, bass and snare. And so what you're gonna have is that bass and snare, and then immediately after the snare you're gonna do bass, bass and snare. And so bass, bass and snare, and putting those two together sounds like this. So bass and snare, bass, bass and snare. And now we just gotta repeat that for pretty much the entire first verse and the second verse. Now a little bit faster at tempo. Cool, sweet. So now that we got that, let's put that beat with the intro and see how it sounds. So a quick thing, after we do that flam crash, we're going to come back in on the snare section of this. That first snare that we hit, that's the snare that we're coming in on. So that's how that beginning sounds. So that crash is like the bass and snare, bass, bass and snare, and that we already did. So flam, crash and snare, bass, bass and snare, and bass and snare, bass, bass and snare. And so now let me go ahead and back it up, put that with music, and then we just play all the way until our first change.
Darling, you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? If you say that you are mine, I'll be here till the end of time. So you got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? It's always tease, tease, tease. You're happy when I'm on my knees.
So now we're at our first change in the beat. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that a little bit clearer and see how it goes. So after that first half of the verse, you hear him say, should I stay or should I go? Right? So right there, we're going to listen in for that as our cue in. If we haven't heard what a cue in is, basically it's whenever the music is telling us to do something, and then we come in after that, right? As drummers, we can either go off of like counting or cue ins. I'd rather go off of cue ins here because I feel like counting this is a little bit repetitive, right?
Should I stay or should I go? It's always tease, tease, tease. You're happy when I'm on my knees.
So right here, this is the part we're going to be playing. So after you hear him say, should I stay or should I go? On that go, you're going to play one more measure of bass and snare, bass, bass and snare, and then you're going to change and you're going to do the bass, bass and snare and 4 times, just like this. Let me show you. So we're going to change a little bit and we're going to play this instead. Okay, so bass and snare, bass, bass and snare, bass. It might feel a little bit weird, but once you get into the rest of it, it feels really easy. Just follow me on this one. So okay, so after that bass, you're going to do bass, bass, snare, and. Okay, and we do that 4 times. So bass and snare, bass, 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 bass and snare and bass. And then we're back into the regular beat right there, okay? So 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then you're back into the regular beat after that. So bass and snare, bass, bass and snare, bass 1 and snare, bass 2 and snare, bass 3 and snare, bass 4 and snare and bass and snare, bass, bass and snare and bass and snare, bass, bass and snare and just like that. One thing we need to add though is on that third time that we do bass, bass and snare, it's bass, crash and snare on the third time. So you really play it like this. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and snare, and 1, and snare, bass, and snare, and bass, and snare. So, now that we know that, let's go ahead and back it up and put that with music.
You got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? It's always tease, tease, tease.
And 4, and snare, and bass.
You're happy when I'm on my knees. One day is fine and next is.
So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next change, which is going to be at that next time where he says, should I stay or should I go? But this timing on this is going to be a little bit different.
Well, come on and let me know. Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I?
So that's what we're going to be playing right there. So let me just go ahead and play this part without music, and then I'll show you how it goes. So it's like this. Okay, one more time. Bass and snare, bass, bass and snare, bass, bass and snare, and bass, bass, snare, bass, snare. How we do this is very similar to how we got into that beginning part where we repeated that 4 times. So we do bass and snare, bass, bass and snare, bass, bass and snare, but this time we only do 1 of those. So bass, bass and snare, and then we have this new bass and snare fill, which goes like this: bass, bass, snare, bass, flam, and that flam has a bass. Okay, so it goes like this. Bass, bass, snare, bass, flam. Okay, so putting that all together sounds like this: bass, bass and snare, and bass, bass, snare, bass, flam. One more time. Cool. That goes where he says, should I stay or should I go? The second time, okay? So here we go.
Me off your back. Well, come on and let me know. Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? If I go, there will be trouble. And if I stay, it will be double. So come on and let me know. These indecisions bugging me. If you don't want me, set me free.
Cool. So right there, you saw me do that fill, and then we got into the chorus part, which is what you saw me do after that. So let's just go ahead and jump into the chorus section now. So the chorus section begins with a fill, and we're going to do this. So it's snare, bass, crash with snare. And then we play the beat, which is this. Right, and I'm going to take out the crash there for right now, just so we learn the beat. So what we're going to be doing is this. So it's bass, snare, and bass, snare, bass, snare, and bass, snare, bass, snare, and bass, snare. Here's that tempo. And if you notice, now we're playing on the ride cymbal. So at first we were playing on the hi-hat, but now we're playing on the ride. So here's how you count that really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and then in 9 we're gonna change. So before we do that change in 9 where the beat changes to the tom section, let's go over that fifth measure. So it's gonna go like this: 5, crash, and bass. 5. So instead of crashing with the bass here, you're gonna crash with the snare on that and. It gives it a little upbeat feel. It's really cool. So now let's play from 1 to the beginning of 9 really quick with that crash now. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, crash, and bass. 6, 7, 8, and then 9 is going to begin the tom section, okay? So the tom section goes like this. So you're going to play this with the floor, bass, and snare all together. So this is the beat. So breaking that down a little bit more, we're going to do this in sections. So the first section we have is this. So that's bass and snare, bass, bass and snare, bass. And then the last part of it is just bass, snare, and tom together. So it would be this all together. At tempo. So we're going to do that 4 times in total. So when you get to that 9th measure, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, bass crash. Okay? And that bass crash is going to start the next part of the beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, bass crash, and bass snare, and bass snare, bass snare, and bass snare, bass snare, and bass snare, tom. And right there where I stopped is where the next fill is going to happen. So you're going to have 4 of these. 2, 3, 4, bass crash, and bass snare, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, flam. And that flam right there is with the bass, just like how we did in the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, flam. So that flam just goes where that bass would be when you do the bass crash in that first tom section. But right here you just put a flam with that bass, and then we're going to do this next fill, which goes like this. So right, so flam, bass, 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 flam, bass, crash. Flam, bass, 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 flam, bass, crash. And on those crashes you're going to choke them. So basically what choking means is whenever you hit the cymbal, you just grab it, right? And it chokes out the sound so it doesn't ring out as long, right? You choke the sound. So you got, or if you have one cymbal, you could do it like this, right? I think doing the 2, if you choke them both, it's a little bit harder, but it sounds kind of cool. But that is the entirety of Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash. So if you like this video, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you have any more suggestions, comments, things that you want to tell me, I like to read everything that you guys say. So even if you have like a song suggestion, you can drop it down in the comments and I'll get to it. I'm always looking for ideas for new songs to do. So I hope you guys like this one, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.